Hey everybody, it's Brandon Scheid with Slingshot Sports, and today I'm excited to be talking with you because that means you just purchased a brand new Hoverglide foil set from Slingshot. And I'm here today to help you go through all the parts and pieces, how to assemble them correctly so that we can get you on the water enjoying the feeling of float. So first things first, let's go ahead and open up our kit. You can see the first thing, it comes in this really great soft carrying case. This is great for storage, protection, and travel for carrying your foil around anywhere you want to go. So let's open this thing up, pull out the parts and pieces, and get going on how to put this bad boy together. So you can see everything is in its own compartment. So I'm just going to start opening the compartments and setting the pieces out. First big compartment up here is my front wing. Generally, this is going to be the biggest wing in your kit. So you can see it has a really large shape. It's also going to come with a neoprene cover, and that neoprene cover is to protect it getting in and out of the water or getting it in and out of your car or your boat. So that neoprene cover is a really nice added feature. So I'm going to set that down. The next piece that comes with my kit here is my mast. My mast is the piece that connects my board to the fuselage and wings down below. This is an aluminum piece. It's super strong, and it is short length, which gives you a really good learning curve on that 71 centimeter mast. Next piece in here is my shift fuselage. This fuselage has a lot of different mounting options and also allows me to move my wing into some different positions. So we want to set that piece aside. Next compartment holds the smaller of the two wings, which is called the stabilizer. It's the tail wing, and this is what balances out your kit. You can see this also comes with a neoprene sleeve to protect it when you're getting it in and out of your car or setting it up. The next compartment comes with a little bit of information that's really important. First is your quick start guide, which is going to be your directional reference and have all your specs for all your bolts and explain all the details of the foil kit. And then also you have a Foil Academy voucher that gets you into the Foil Academy program, which allows you to learn how to use these foils to the maximum potential. So definitely want to set those aside. Additionally, in that pocket is the pedestal. This pedestal is what attaches physically to the board and to the mast. So this is a really nice important piece that you need. And the final pocket contains all of the hardware required, some of the anti-seize gel and Teflon tape for longevity and durability. It includes your tailpiece shim. It includes your B position mounting hardware and the 3 tools that you're going to need to assemble your whole kit. So I'm going to slide all this stuff to the side, get it cleaned up on my table, and then we'll go over all the pieces and how to put them together. All right, now that I have all my parts and pieces laid out very clearly, the first step that I want to do is go ahead and grab my pack of hardware and dump out all of the hardware and match like pieces to like pieces. There are several different sizes and styles of bolts contained in this bolt pack, so you want to make sure you separate like with like. First, I'm going to grab my 2 barrel head screws, M8. Then I'm going to grab my next set of M8 screws here, which is my flatheads. They're the longest in the kit. Next, I have another set of flatheads that are slightly shorter. I have 2 M6 flatheads, and I have 1 tiny little M6 flathead. You can refer to your quick start guide for all the specific lengths, but what the easiest way to assemble this and not make mistakes is just to pair like with like and make sure that you have the right pieces for the right job. So now that I have all the bolts out, I'm going to go ahead and protect the bolts from corrosion and from coming loose by applying some lanolin electrolysis grease as well as some Teflon tape to each of the bolt pieces. A little bit of dab on your finger just goes on each bolt, on the threads. Nothing too technical here, just applying some grease so that we don't have any corrosion occurring to our parts and pieces, especially if we're using this kit in salt water. It's not as big of a problem in fresh water as it is in salt water. So for those of you ocean users, I definitely highly recommend applying these anti-seize greases and Teflon tape to make your foil last as long as possible and make sure that when you want to take your stuff apart, it's easy to take apart and it doesn't come apart when you don't want it to. Next, I want to grab my Teflon tape and I just want to do a few full wraps around the threads in order to ensure that they lock in nice and tight and then also come undone when I want them to. So it's as simple as pulling it tight around the threads, wrapping it a few times around the bolt, and then pulling it firmly to tear it clean. Again, you only need to do about 3 rotations around the bolt to ensure that you have the proper amount and it's not gonna come undone when you put the bolt in. Okay, if you've purchased the FSUP kit or any of the Infinity Wings 84 or 99, the longer cord length wings, we're gonna recommend that you run these wings in B position, and there's a difference in the stabilizer kit that comes with the FSUP. So slightly different than the standard configuration, we wanna grab our fuselage, ensure that our bolts are the proper way, meaning that the countersinks are on the bottom, and we're gonna go ahead again and slide our wing over our fuselage. We're gonna flip this bad boy over, make sure the holes are aligned, and we're gonna start with our M6 by 25 set screw, and we're just gonna put that set screw in, and that helps hold the wing in position, ready to go, so that when we install the other hardware, the front wing is not gonna move around. And again, snug it down, tighten it down. Now, as I said, these larger cord length wings work way better in the B position. So we're gonna go ahead and be installing the B position hardware as well. So go ahead and grab your B position hardware pack, and that's gonna ensure that the wing stays hydrodynamic, as well as that the front wing is securely mounted to the fuselage. So again, I'm just gonna simply hand tighten my 2 bolts into my area, my number 6 tool. I'm gonna snug both of those up, ensuring that they bite into the cap. And then I'm just gonna give them a final crank down tightening to ensure that they're both tightened. And now you can see my front wing is secured with 3 bolts, and my shim or hydrodynamic little piece is installed in the top of the wing. So now my front wing is completely installed, and I'm ready to start mounting my rear wing. Slightly different than the other Hoverglide kits, my rear 48 centimeter stabilizer is a slightly different setup. And what I wanna do is I wanna integrate my piece into position, my shim piece into position, and I wanna look at where my logos are. My logos are facing always up. So in this case, this kit actually mounts to the bottom surface versus the top surface on the other Hoverglide packages. So I'm gonna flip my wing over, I'm gonna align my shim holes, I'm gonna align my wing with those shim holes. I'm gonna take my mounting hardware for my rear wing, and I'm just gonna hand tighten those down. I'm gonna grab my smallest tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and snug those up, making sure that the wing seats properly. Everything looks like it's aligned right before I turn my wrench and snug those completely down nice and tight, ensuring that my wing is fully connected. And now I have my larger cord length wing FSUP with my rear stabilizer wing, which is mounted on the bottom, ready to go. The final piece of assembly here is actually gonna be mounting this lower kit to my mast. Again, looking at my mast profile, I wanna ensure that the wider part of the mast, the more rounded portion, is the front portion of my mast. This sharper side is my trailing edge. So I'm gonna set this down as if it was moving forward in this direction. All right, so we have our full lower assembled, and we're gonna go ahead and put it on our mast in B position. Again, go ahead and look at your mast, make sure your profile, the thicker side, again, is the front side. So as I set this down, my direction of travel is going to be this way. So I wanna make sure when I mount my bottom on here, my lower, that it's intended to go in this travel. So again, I'm going to discard these barrel-headed 45 mm bolts, and I'm going to grab my flathead 50 mm M8 hardware. I'm going to take my wing, I'm going to pick it up and set it on top of my mast, aligning the B position holes with the holes in the fuselage. I'm gonna go ahead and hold that with one hand so it doesn't tip and fall. And I'm just gonna hand thread my bolts into my mast. Now you might need to move it a little bit just to make sure you get good integration and everything is lined up. Again, it's always easier if you hand thread the bolts down to ensure that you have a uniform fit and that everything is lining up before you tighten them completely down with the wrench. So you can see I've gotten them hand tightened down most of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my 5mm wrench and I'm gonna come up here and I'm just gonna slowly tighten these down until they are snug, just like before. Always wanna go snug before you go full tight. Snug there, and I'm gonna come over here and I'm just gonna slowly tighten this one down until it too is also snug. Now that they're both nice and snug, I'm gonna flip my wrench. I'm gonna give it one last torque to make sure that they're nice and tight. And now my foil is assembled in B position and ready to ride.